Hey guys, Katie here from Equestrian Movement. How are you going? Today I wanted to talk about how to ride a square halt. Oh, you can see Lockie in the back. Hi Lockie! He's chasing invisible things like the crazy critter he is. So today we're going to talk about how to ride a square halt. So one of the things that we get critiqued on in our dressage tests is how to ride a square halt. And there's a good chance that before you did your first dressage test, you didn't even know that this was the standard that you were looking for. You were probably just stoked that your horse stopped, most of the time, hopefully, when you ask. And then all of a sudden you find out, oh, now the halt has to be square. So this is one of the standards that we have in our dressage tests, and from memory, when I was doing my first dressage test and being told, oh, halt not square, I was like, okay, awesome, how do I make my halt square? So we go down the center line, ride our halt, have a peek over the side, no, not square. And so go around, do it again, come down the center line, ride my halt and have a little peek at, still not square, come around, do it again, come around, do it again. And for the life of me, I couldn't get the halt square. And so then we would result in being at the halt, just tapping on the butt, giving a little niggle, saying, put that leg through, and the horse would walk off again. How am I going to get this halt square? So one of the things that I did a little bit of research into this from what other coaches are teaching, just to see, what the advice is. And it has a lot to do with the seat and riding the seat through, getting the horse to step underneath you with your seat. So a lot of the advice is using your seat, cuddling with your calves, making sure that the horse isn't walking through your hands and whatnot. But for me, this isn't why your halt isn't square. If you think about why we want a square halt in the first place, it's because we've correctly applied the training scale. So in correctly applying the training scale, our horse, I've just written this down so I don't forget anything, the horse is moving the weight onto the hind, distributing the weight evenly across all four legs, engaging the stomach muscles, showing relaxation and swing, and still breathing. So my standard for a horse halting square is not if it halts square because you're holding it in posture, but if it's halting square because it's engaged its postural muscles, it's holding its own posture. So I want to see the horses standing square when you untuck them in the barn. I want to see your horses standing square when you bring them up from the yard to tack them up. I want to see them standing square when you're mounting them. I want to see them standing square whenever you're handling them and moving them around, because that's an indication that when you are training them, you are getting them to use their posture correctly and getting them to distribute their weight evenly across all four legs. And if they're not standing square, if they've got one leg a little more forward than the other, then it's a good indication of where you're going wrong with your training that's allowing them to work crooked. So if they're working crooked, they're not going to stand square because they're not distributing their weight evenly across all four legs. Hey Jane, we're talking about square halts. So this expectation of the horse to distribute its weight evenly across all four legs is the foundation of prelim, of foundation of our training in prelim, because it teaches our horse how to start transferring its weight onto the back and how to transfer its weight evenly into all four legs, and then how to pick its own body up into self-carriage before we start trying to ask it to collect. So one of the things that is missed in this stage in prelim is that we make the horse's frame by holding its head down and using the whip to drive the horse into our hands. What we want to do is be using our training exercises that develop the horse's musculoskeletal system so that it is balanced and even throughout its body, which results in it being able to hold its posture and drive into our hands. So my take home note for riding a square halt is that I don't care if your horse can stand square because you've put it there. I want it to stand square because it put itself there. And so that is the result of your conditioning, training, and using your exercises to get your horse to engage its hindquarters, start transferring the weight onto its hindquarters, use its stomach muscles, start engaging and flexing its muscles along its back so that it is traveling forward with relaxation and swing, developing even throughness through each shoulder. So obviously, using your legs correctly, using your seat correctly, using your hands correctly all plays a role in this, but you learn about that when you're learning how to ride your horse into contact anyway. If you are learning how to use your seat to ride your horse into your hands, you know how to use your seat to ride a halt. If you are learning how to use your legs to ride into your hands and learning how to use your hands to ride into contact, then you know how to ride your horse into a square halt because you're working it squarely into your hands. There are a few little tips and tricks, as we've been talking about with posture, with making sure that you have been trained correctly when you started. For example, tilting the pelvis the wrong way and clamping through your thighs and your knees and tipping forward with your upper body. That's going to mean that you're not using your seat properly. And we have a mini course on that, how to use your seat correctly, over on our website if you wanted to find some little tricks there to get your body working correctly as well. And we're also hoping soon to have a course on working your horse from green to self-carriage, which is all the exercises that I use to get the horse working correctly into contact, into your hands, teaching it how to transfer its weight onto the haunches and distribute its weight evenly across all four legs whilst being in contact and in self-carriage. So that's coming soon. Make sure you're on our email list to get that. So if you have any more questions about how to ride your halt square, we will be able to answer them if you leave some comments. Have a lovely day. Bye.